Hi, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was so good. It was so relaxing, just mellow, had a full belly. How about you?
Me too. My niece made an entire keto Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
It was so good, but it was hard to get up this morning.
Yeah.
So I was like, too much pie, and then I actually had leftover pie for breakfast after I got back from the gym.
Pie for breakfast, that's the best.
Yeah. So we are live. I hope I see, who do we see here? Can you read, Stephanie?
Barbara Grace is here.
Hey, Barbara.
Kimberly, I can't read the last name. It's going way too fast. Let me get on here with you.
If you have a wrench next to your name, if any of our moderators are watching, please look out for the trolls and delete them as they come up, if they come up, because my sister isn't here and Melissa is under the weather. We're inside because it's been raining and it's cold. Yes. So yeah, we're gonna go live this morning from inside the shop. We're in our jewelry bar making room. And Stephanie, I have a fun idea. Last year I made these ornaments. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're really chipped. Christmas, and I transformed some dollar store ornaments, and I thought it would be fun to show you how to do it.
I love this idea because I love those ornaments, and I really, right?
Yes, so these are from the dollar store, the 99-cent store actually. I've seen some paper mache versions of these at Hobby Lobby.
Oh, yeah.
You want to look for ornaments with flat sides because it's harder to do it. You can do it on a round ornament, but it's a lot easier if you have these flat edges like these. I looked really hard for these. These were also from the 99-cent store last year, but I could not find any more. I'm thinking of asking Zeb to make some.
Debbie Stuckey says she's been looking, it sounds like, and she can't find them anywhere either.
Okay, well, you can find these, and we're going to just see how well these work out, because these could be fun.
Yeah.
And then I also pulled out the mermaid mold, because one of you in a previous live said that you took these mermaids and made them into Christmas ornaments. So I'm thinking that I'll wrap a mermaid around the ball with the resin and see what happens. I don't know if it's gonna work.
And you're doing it with the resin, so like maybe like her tail could be coming up or something.
Oh yes, yes. So I'm gonna work with the resin like I did in Wednesday's video. Has anyone seen Wednesday's video, the butterfly lamp? Did you see it?
My gosh, so good. I did see it. It's awesome.
You know,
I need me a 3D ornament or lamp like that.
Several of my Karen and Dion both hinted that they wanted that lamp, and I have to say, I don't want to even sell it. It was fun.
That means you'll just have to go get more and do the whole process again and sell.
I know.
Sell a few of them, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I did have some leftover butterflies that I brought. I was thinking, I don't know, maybe we can glue them to some ornaments. So it's just going to be like, this is also from the dollar store, so it's going to be a 99-cent store ornament day.
This would be cute, actually, if we did like a chippy finish and then had a little butterfly coming off of it.
Yes.
That could be fun.
Okay, so Stephanie, the first thing we have to do is put a base coat on these.
All right.
So for the most part, we're not going to use a brush at all. We're going to use our little plastic sticks.
Which I think I found one, and I found maybe this will work. I don't know if I just...
Okay. But we got to put, I like to put a dark base coat so it kind of looks like dark wood peeking through the edges of the bottom.
Okay.
So weathered wood is a good color, or layered chocolate, or even black.
I'm going to grab me some weathered wood. I love that.
So I'm going to take all the lids off the ornaments, and I'm going to see if I can read comments while Stephanie is looking. Your mom is watching, Stephanie.
Of course she is.
Hey, Mom. Hi, Debbie. That is from Cherie Spinning. Debbie's Therapy. Butterflies work with anything. I agree. Evolving, blessed. Debbie's Monet is gorgeous. Thank you. Barbara Grace, by the way, your Monet lamp was so awesome. I am so happy with that lamp. That was fun. Some things I really struggle with, and that lamp pretty much came together without a lot of struggle, so that was fun. Lamp envy. Hi, green-eyed lady. Stacy Painter says you're all awesome. Love your videos and your stories. You know, I was worried about this last video because I didn't really have a story to tell. Like, that was the one day. Like, the whole France trip was a fiasco. But that one day, like, as soon as we got to Monet's Gardens, France itself, it's really hard to find parking. It's really busy. You have to watch out for pickpockets. But this was like a little oasis. It was kind of like going like maybe to the San Diego Zoo where everything is contained.
That's good.
And
your clips were just gorgeous. They totally drew me in.
It was so beautiful. And our tour guide took a nap in the car the whole day, so we didn't have to think about her.
I was gonna say, well, that's probably a good thing, right?
Yeah, it created a much needed restful day. And we spent the whole day there. I still have more footage, more pictures. I have other projects that I want to do inspired by Monet's Gardens.
So Evelyn has a question. She says, is resin better, or can you do this project with paper clay as well? I'm not sure if she's referring to the ornament or the lamp, but let's actually answer those for both. So if you're doing the lamp.
Okay, so this was hard to explain in the video. Paper clay. So we've got the paper clay here, and we've got the resin right here. There's a lot of different types of resin. This is the easiest one to use. It's called the Amazing Casting Resin. It's the quick drying. It turns white as it dries. Everything else like dries overnight.
And you can't really tell when it's drying because it doesn't change color, right?
Right,
Like,
and then you
it's
can't,
dry.
yeah, by the time it's dry, you can't really manipulate it anymore. So I used the resin because I wanted to make the wings bent so they look like they're flying little butterflies. And then once I started making the butterflies, I just continued to make everything else. And then I'm like, oh, I should have just made the butterflies with the resin. If I would have made all the background pieces, the acanthus scroll, I think we have it here. So I used these two molds for my lamp. If I would have done all of this in the clay, I think it would have been a lot easier. But
I got you, because the butterflies you had coming off of the lamp and the I can't even say this word. Whatever.
Acanthus, do you guys know? Let us know.
Acanthus. That sounds right. So that, even though it was 3D, it was laying flush on the lamp. So that makes sense.
Right. The only difference is when you make things out of resin, this is made out of resin, you can paint it before you apply it to your surface. When you make things out of clay, you have to apply it before the clay dries, because if you just let them sit there overnight, they kind of curl up on the edges and they crack a little bit, and then you can't get a nice flush adhesion. So that is why once I realized, oh, this is going to be a lot harder using the resin, I just continued to go with it because I wanted to pre-paint everything. So I could have done it with the clay, but then I would have had to take tiny little brushes and try and paint it all very meticulously.
So what happens if you try to pre-paint wet clay?
You lose the detail because it's smushy.
That's been my experience too. Yes.
Yeah, and especially with the dust, I was really like working the brush in, and you want them to be nice and hard so that you don't lose the detail. So it was kind of a catch-22. It was like, it's harder to work with the resin, but it would have been really hard to try and paint the clay adhered to the lamp with a tiny brush and not mess up the background, because in that particular case, I wanted to keep the porcelain background. But in most cases, like my cake dresser, I just paint the whole dresser anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So that's a long answer. I hope that makes sense, because it's kind of hard to...
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, we should start getting base coats on these.
Yes.
Let me grab some brushes for us.
Oh, we can paint the base coat with the brush?
Yes.
Okay. How long after making the resin do you have to form it into the shape that you want?
Not very long, especially like I like to do things like in a systematic way. So like I made all the molds before I even got started. You know, once you start pouring the resin, you just pour and crack them out. And so in the video, I'm using the tape and I'm taping up the wings, because you have like, I would say you have 15-20 minutes, but once you get going, like the pieces do get hard. But the hair dryer will soften them back up again. It was a long process. It took me all day to make that lamp, and then I finally finished it and went to bed, and I like forced myself to stay up an extra hour. I'm like, okay, I want this lamp to be done when I get up tomorrow, so all I have to do is the editing. And then the next morning I'm like, oh, I need one more mold right here, and I need this right here. And then I ended up spending like another 4 hours on it.
Story of my life.
So it was a time, like it was more than, I would say it took me 9 or 10 hours from start to finish to make that lamp. And it's hard to say because I'm stopping and starting and filming and adjusting the camera and getting different camera angles. So maybe if I weren't, if you're just at home and you're making it from start to finish, you might be able to make it faster. And whenever you're making something for the first time, it's trial and error. So now, like, that's why I make the videos, so you guys know.
Right.
Make sure you stir the resin together when it turns clear. If it's not stirred, then it doesn't.
Right.
Like all those things
Kind
you
of
can
learn
avoid.
for your,
Yeah.
So, somebody said they sent you a package and they wanted to know Debi's therapy. Just wondering if you received my small package. I don't know that we have.
Debi's therapy. We get packages from time to time, and recently.
I don't recall seeing a package from Debi's therapy. But I don't
Debi, was it the beautiful journal was that you? That Paris journal? I think so. We held it up in last week's live. Did you watch last week's live, Debi? Either that, we might have done it on Facebook. But if it's the beautiful journal that you handmade for my trip to Paris, thank you so much. We did get that, and then I got a package full of vintage Christmas goodies. But I know that one was from Christy.
Hopefully that's not too loud.
Yeah, I think it was. Debi, I would hold it up right now, but it's at home on my desk.
Do IOD molds ever go on sale?
Jamie Ray, I think, is having a Black Friday sale today, so you could get them from her on sale. I think just some particular styles are on sale. We don't have a sale. Part of the reason why we don't is because we just put the molds up last week, and we're just trying to keep up with orders and get into a groove of shipping. So I don't know, maybe in the future we would have a sale. Typically when they go on sale is when IOD offers, like IOD offered all its retailers a discount, and we could pass that discount on to you.
Debi's therapy says, yes, that is what it was, and she's so glad it made it here safely.
Thank you so much, Debi. It's absolutely beautiful, and I did hold it up last week, and I flipped through all the pages, and I thanked you. I guess you didn't get a chance to see that.
She did not get to watch last week's video.
But that was so sweet of you, and it was so beautifully, meticulously made. I was just in awe of all of the time and the work you put into that. I truly, truly appreciate it. So thank you for
I hope
thinking of
this, I have a hair dryer going right now to speed up the drying process, so I hope it's not too loud.
I think it's okay. You might even just want to show them what you're doing. So we're gonna put a base coat on all of these, then we're gonna hit them with the hair dryer so we can start the layering process. And I'm gonna show Stephanie how to do it, and then once I feel like she's got it down, then I'm gonna move on to the mermaids.
That's why I need to pick it up like this.
You got any other questions?
No, they're saying it's not too loud, so that's good.
So how was your Thanksgiving yesterday? What did you guys eat that was good?
What is it you're painting right now, Cheryl wants to know. We are painting dollar store ornaments. We're gonna create like a chippy layered finish, just like Debi did last year. So yeah, she's teaching me the process, and that way we can teach you.
So this is what we hope they will look like when we're done, and this is what we're starting with. So these ornaments that we're painting, I found at the 99-cent store, And I've seen similar paper mache ones at Hobby Lobby for the same price. These were, well, no, actually, these were 2 for $1. They came in a pack of 2 for 99 cents. And then the Hobby Lobby ones are $1 each, but I think they're bigger and they're made out of that brown paper mache, which you could also use.
Yeah.
But you want to look for ornaments that have flat sides to them. I did attempt to do it on a round ornament, and it was cool, but it's not the same. No. Okay, Stephanie.
So we got 2, so I think you could show me the next process on at least one of these.
Yeah.
The next step.
Okay, so the next step, you don't want to use a brush. You want to use a flat surface, like we have this little palette knife here. You could even use one of the plastic sticks that come with the IOD. You could use a credit card. You could use that little rubber doohickey that I love to use from Mod Podge. You know that rubber thing?
That thing.
Do we have one of those?
We do somewhere. Where was one of those?
Let me go look.
I think it was in one of those baskets with the... Okay, so last week you said I should use it. What were we doing last week?
Oh, well. Last week might as well.
It's either in the molds or the stamps basket.
Okay. So Stephanie, you want to look for the thick portion of the paint. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
yep, I do.
Like you want that thick.
That thick clay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the inside of the cap here that it sort of the paint sort of builds up onto as we're pouring it out. And I'm going to dig from there. I think that'll be a good idea.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to pronounce her name because there's so many pronunciations of this, but Tara says, if you only had money for 2 IOD molds, which 2 would you say is most universal?
Oh, that's a good
That's a really good question. I have one that comes to mind, and it's that Classic Elements.
Yeah, Classic Elements is really good.
I think that's a pretty universal one. I really love that one. Wendy Schneider's here, and she's a new member. Hey, Wendy. So my vote, at least for one of them, would be Classic Elements. Maybe the mermaid one, if you're into mermaids. Or maybe even the new one. And I can never pronounce this word.
The Classic Elements, and also I think the new Acanthus scroll is good. The mermaid ones are really fun, but like they kind of limit you to what you can do. Like the butterflies and the mermaids, those are fun, but you can, with things like this, you can use parts of them and you can twist them and you can, like, I will take pieces of them and make them into a flower.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. That's the same thing
I would say that those would be good. Classic Elements and the Acanthus.
Okay, I'm just going for it. I'm just rubbing this on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking this thicker part that's kind of dried up in the cap, but not completely dried.
This is Classic Elements right here. Yeah. Yeah, so, oh yeah, you have it in the cap. Sometimes when I did this project before, I poured bits of the paint onto a paper plate and I let it get thick. And that makes it easier. Yeah. I think it might be like the bigger your spreading surface, the better.
Okay.
So I'm gonna spread it on, Stephanie, see, kind of like this.
Oh, I gotcha.
And you want a really uneven, kind of like you're frosting a cake. And
okay.
You don't even want to cover all of the area.
I gotcha. Okay.
See how that is, and that there. You want to create like this.
Right, because we're gonna be layering this. That makes sense. Okay. So that's what I got so far. Yep.
Yeah. But I think that, at least for me, the wide, flat tools make it easier. And these are those sticks that we rub the transfers on, but a credit card, even a thick piece of brown paper is good. But you want it thick. Like you can put the paint in the freezer and make it thick. You can just sit it out on a paper plate and it starts to turn kind of
You
clay-like.
speed up the drying process or the thickening
Thickening
up with the blow dryer, perhaps.
Yeah, you could do that as well. I taught a class in Delaware, and it was a rainy, cold day like this, and everybody was hitting, like we poured the paint onto a paper plate, and then we hit it with a hair dryer to kind of thicken it. But see how it's chunky? You want to try and mimic the look of old, chippy, chunked up paint that's been on there for a million years.
So we're doing these on ornaments, but you can create this finish on like a piece of furniture?
Yes, any flat surface where you can just kind of pull the paint across a flat edge. I was even thinking if you found a star for the top of your tree that kind of
How
was
cool would that
beveled.
be?
Yeah,
I like that. I think I might do that.
yeah.
Although then I'd have to get rid of my sugar skull.
Oh, is that what you have on the top of your tree? Oh. Yeah. So we're gonna do this, and then I think I'm gonna do a different color for the top of the ornament.
Cheryl Atkinson said she watched the video and she tried freezing her paint, but she wouldn't use a paper plate.
Oh. What happens when you freeze a paper plate? It kind of...
I don't know. I guess she didn't have luck. You can use a cut-up credit card.
Yeah.
Evelyn said her husband loves sugar skulls and she was obsessed with the one Steph did. She wants to try doing something similar, but she needs to buy the IOD molds. Oh, very cool. Yes. I'm so glad that inspired you.
That dresser is so pretty.
She's still looking for a home.
I know, she's right over there. She's so cute. So we are selling the IOD molds on our website now. We've been shipping them out. How many orders have we gotten for them, Stephanie?
Too many to count.
Yeah. We've sold a lot of the Monarch molds and the Acanthus scroll molds.
Cheryl said it was hard getting it off the plate and it seeped through the plate.
Oh, okay. Good to know, Cheryl, because I think I just put mine in I think I just kept mine in the little containers and threw them in there.
So how long would you put it in the freezer? Not to where it's completely frozen, right? Or if it does completely frozen, does it thaw out?
Yeah, so I experimented. I put mine in the freezer for different time intervals, and I even left it in there overnight. And with other paint, like you can ruin paint by freezing it, but our formula, because it's basically just clay,
Right.
it will thaw out, and it never froze rock solid. It just kind of got really thick.
That's
And
really cool.
it's separated a little bit, which I was able to stir back together, but I've had other paints that have frozen, and I wasn't trying to freeze them, and then they kind of explode. Like they get when you pull the lid off, it's like a popping champagne,
Oh.
and it smells really bad, like the chemical breakdown, something goes wrong with other formulas of paint. But
So now because this is so thick, it takes a while to dry, I imagine.
yeah, we're gonna want to hit it with the dryer. And maybe I want to use a different color. Do we have another thick color?
I can pull the top off. I'm sure we do somewhere here.
Maybe the red or that mint green, whatever works.
It's just a
It's
matter of
chilly.
getting the top off now.
Oh yeah. We need Melissa here. Somebody is here. Julie or Melissa. Who knows who it's gonna be? Okay.
Cheryl says we can't give you hearts and thumbs up. I wonder why.
Oh, I wonder why.
Jeffrey Scott wants to know where Melissa is. She's under the weather, so she's not with us right now. We're hoping she has a quick recovery.
Yeah. Who is it? It's
It's
Julie.
me. Hi.
Hey, Julie.
Is it supposed to rain? Should I move stuff out?
I think it's gonna be okay. It's just gonna be kind of chilly. We're live, Julie.
Oh.
We're making, Julie's here. Julie
Hi,
works on
everyone.
Thursdays and Fridays, but not yesterday because it was Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yeah.
Are these glass or plastic?
They're plastic from the
How
from
awesome.
the 99-cent store.
Oh my gosh.
Ruth
Yeah.
says she's afraid to order the
Gorgeous.
paint in the winter. Do you think it would be okay if it froze?
Okay, so this is the thing. I have experimented and I have frozen the paint on purpose. I've put it in my freezer overnight and it has been fine for me. But the standard industry recommendations are that you should not let paint freeze. And for most paint, it is terrible. You ruin it if it freezes. And our shipping manufacturer doesn't like shipping
in-
frozen paint because they don't want to be liable. So you can order it in the winter. We watch the weather patterns. It may take a little bit longer to get to you, and you'll want to track your package so that you can bring it inside immediately. But my experience is even if it does freeze, it thaws out and it's fine. But as a business selling it to you, we don't want to sell you frozen paint. So that's what I have to say. If you have paint in existence, like say you store it in your garage and then all of a sudden it freezes, it's not ruined.
We have a
my
super chat.
gosh,
Thank you,
super chat.
Susan. Susan's always showing up and supporting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. More lunch money.
Yay.
I almost feel like I don't need any lunch today because I ate so much.
So much, I know.
yesterday.
Nicole wants to know where can she get the bottles we put our paint in?
Oh, these are called.
I would, yeah.
These are called FIFO bottles.
FIFO, so it stands for first in, first out. I think you can get them on Amazon.
Yes, Amazon. Maybe we can put a link below this video for where to get them. But I love them because they make it easier.
DeCorby wanted to know where she can buy the molds.
You can go to DIYpaint.co. It's the link. The link is actually below. You know what I did, Stephanie? I'm so proud of myself.
What did you do?
I learned how to set up all the links so that every time we post a video, it goes to a default.
That's cool.
So the link is already down there. You just click the link below this video where it says buy products here.
I'm proud of you too.
I have your link in
Oh,
there.
cool.
I'm like, I felt so tech savvy for 5 minutes.
That's so cool.
I'm like, oh, I can do this. Yes.
Cassandra says she's been very impartial when it comes to paint, but she honestly has to say that I do love the coverage of the DIY paint.
It's good. It is good.
Do you have an Instagram or Twitter account where you can post photos of your cake dresser? I believe you have posted photos, right?
Yes. I don't do Twitter.
No, I don't either.
I have a Twitter account. I never use it. I just like when there's Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and stories and I also have a blog and a newsletter. It's like at some point you just gotta say enough.
Yes.
So I don't do Twitter, but we do Instagram. It's debbiesdesigndiary.com, and you can use that hashtag, or you can use DIY paint as a hashtag. And I always scroll through looking for those hashtags. So please tag me. I would love to see it.
Joanne Boylan wants to know how long can you store paint in the FIFO bottles?
We
Like forever, I think? I don't
so
know.
far we have not had any issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people ask me all the time, like, how do you clean your wax brush? And I honestly say I've never cleaned a wax
I don't
brush.
either, actually. I don't
Yeah.
clean my wax brushes.
Yeah. So, and people ask me how to clean my paint brushes, and this is what I say. You pour a glass of water about this tall, and you stick the brush in so that the metal part doesn't rust, and then when it begins to smell like fish, you clean it.
Shut the front door. You guys don't wash your wax brushes?
No?
I don't.
Don't they get all hard?
No,
I
because
feel like
our wax is soft. Like other waxes will harden and ruin your brushes,
Okay.
but DIY wax, I have never.
And you just leave it out in the open?
Yep.
Yeah.
I sort of take the excess off when I'm
Okay.
done. And then if I do have a little bit of
Just
a
rub
stiff
it off?
brush, I just rub it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Learned something new today.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
the store open this weekend? She needs to stock up on paint, Naughty Mom
Oh,
says.
yeah.
Yes, we
It's
are
open.
open.
We're pretty. Do we have every color right now?
We are stocked right now. We do.
Yeah.
And now would be the time to come in. We're also having a really fun holiday
Oh yes, tomorrow.
get
right?
together tomorrow. So if maybe tomorrow would be the day to come.
Yeah, we're having our holiday open house tomorrow, and we have our gift wrap bar open. So if you bring a gift in a box, you can make the gift wrap that we made in one of the videos from 2 weeks ago and wrap a gift for free. We'll have all of our molds out and our stamps out, and you can make your own gift wrap, and you can wrap one gift free of charge, even if you didn't buy anything here. And then if you do happen to purchase anything here, you can wrap that item in addition to your other gift.
She says she'll be here tomorrow.
All right.
So green-eyed lady, if she was saying that she wants her friend who created a cake dresser, she wants you to see it. So I think
Oh, yeah.
if you tagged DIY or Debbie's Design Diary, right?
Yeah, or DIY paint. Either one of those hashtags will work. Okay, I'm putting a base coat on this big ball. This is from the dollar store as well, and I'm going to try and pour some resin and wrap a mermaid around it while Stephanie continues on with the ornament.
So once my first layer is dry, I'm gonna just go on with a second layer of paint
yes.
in a thick consistency.
Yeah, the same thickness. See how I did it here? You can see that there's three colors. There's
At any point, are you sanding this?
no, I don't
just
really
layer it,
sand it. I
okay.
just layer it, and then you know what I use is the decrepit dust and the clear
Oh,
wax, and it
okay.
gets down.
So like here, how we got like super chunky.
yeah, that makes it good.
All right.
The chunkier, the better.
I love the way you said that. That makes it good.
Like in life, with your body, the chunkier the better, or decrepit. Like both of those things are good when you're creating. I don't know why like a decrepit, chunky body wouldn't also be good.
Well, I guess it depends on who you're asking. Sometimes.
Right. Like, oh, that girl is so decrepit and chunky. Yeah. Did you see all the layers on her?
Beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yes.
All right, let's see. What color am I going to use now? I do. Let's do some. Oh, gosh. Hi there.
Hey. Let us know if you have any questions.
All right, thank you.
Huh. So we're going live from inside the store this morning because it's
Freezing outside and still all
iceberg
wet.
lettuce outside.
Still all wet.
Do you want me to put this up over there?
No, I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cheryl wants to know what color you're using for
Me?
your base coat, I believe. She didn't specify who, but
I'm using, is this weathered wood?
that is weathered wood. Yes.
I'm using weathered wood. I think we used it as a base coat for all of our ornaments. Ooh, you got some good thick redness going
Yeah, I
on.
like this. This is
Yeah,
thick,
that
chunky.
is, try and
You
show
guys-
them up close what
I'm
the,
just using the paint that kind of gets all stuck up in the top of the cap. So I don't have to spend the time either freezing or blow drying this to see how it's all thick.
yeah. So you know, like with DIY paint, because of the clay in it, often you'll take off the lid, and on the lid is this nice thick, like frosty consistency. That is the good stuff. Like that's where you can really use that for the chunky layers. So I get really excited when I see the paint all thick and juicy like that. What about you, Julie?
I was just thinking the same thing. I love that with
Yeah.
the little 8-ounce samples, and you take the unscrew
Yeah.
and it's got the gunk on there, and it's
Yeah, the gunky part is
you
good.
scrape it off and you put it on stuff, and it looks awesome.
It sure does. Okay, I don't know how to. I never know how to dry these when it's an ornament. I'm just gonna stick it here and let it roll with it.
Isn't the table painted in weathered wood anyways?
Kinda, yeah. Do we have any more questions?
Where did you find the large ornament? She wants to try wrapping the mermaid around one.
At the dollar store, I got them, and you can also the 99-cent store sells these big, huge tubs of ornaments for like $4 or $5.
Nice.
Oh, Stephanie, that's gonna be so good. Okay, so the one thing when it's thick like this,
Hold on, stuck to my finger. Okay.
purposely try not to cover every area.
Gotcha. Hi there.
Like leave. Hi. You want to leave holes in it.
I gotcha. Like it's chipped.
Yeah. So like see these these areas with the holes.
Yes. Oh, and then when
That's-
you're layering colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So try not to cover the whole
I gotcha.
area. Okay, so I'm gonna pour some more resin. Do you guys want to see this again? Let's see. I'm gonna do some mermaids. So they give you 3 cups with the resin. Two to pour equal parts into, and 1 to pour the 2 parts together and mix it. I said in my video, and I learned the hard way, this resin is the amazing casting resin, which turns white as it dries, and it dries in about 10 minutes. The other stuff is really hard to work with, but you want to stir it. When you stir it, it starts off cloudy, and then it starts to turn clear again. If you don't stir it until it turns clear and you try and pour it into the mold, it will never dry. It just stays like this sticky gross, and it never ever dries. So make sure you stir it to the point that it turns clear, and then it turns cloudy again when it dries. So it goes from cloudy to clear to cloudy. And I need a stick.
Sorry, I stole the stick.
Sorry.
So there's some red. I'm gonna let this dry while I work on maybe a second layer on one of these other ornaments.
So I've got my 3 cups. I wonder if people can
Tiffany
see.
wants to know. Oh no, I'm sorry, I got this wrong.
Can you guys see the cups?
I don't think they can. No. There you go.
Okay, there's the cups. Okay. So I'm gonna pour equal parts. I've got my mermaid resin mold. I've got my stick, my popsicle stick, and I've got my 3 little cups. I also heard that when you do resin, it's not a good idea to pour them into styrofoam cups.
Oh.
The styrofoam just kind of disintegrates, which is a scary thought. It's like, oh, well then what's in this stuff, right?
This stuff is not
So,
chemically safe.
Here's the
correct?
first part. Yeah, it's got all kinds of warnings. Caution, attention. That's why I like to use the clay for most things. But, you know, sometimes you use the toxic stuff. So, I've got 2 equal parts here. I'm going to take both parts and pour them together into this 1 cup. I'm hoping you guys can see this.
If you use resin in a mold, can you later use paper clay?
You can. The molds are also, they come food safe, so I've seen people make chocolate and cakes, but if you're going to use resin or clay, then you don't really want to use any kind of food products. I would have completely separate molds.
ones, yeah.
So see, I'm stirring it right now. It's cloudy, and I'm just going to keep stirring it until it turns clear. So see, it's cloudy, and it's slowly turning clear. It's like you want to pay attention and have like no distractions when you're doing this, because as soon as it does turn clear, you want to pour it into the mold because it does dry pretty fast. So see, now it's clear, and now I'm going to pour it in the mold. Let's see if you guys can see this. If you want a really good up close look at this, watch the video that I posted on Wednesday, because that's an edited video, and you can really see there's lots of good up close shots of the whole process that it's really hard to show you in a live video. So, and then I take the stick and I push the resin out to the edges of the mold, because sometimes it doesn't flow all the way out. So in this case, I'm pushing it, and got it in the mold now. Julie, have you ever worked with a resin in the molds?
I have not.
Or you use the hot glue,
I
right?
use the hot glue. Typically I use the clay, but the hot glue I've done before when I want to get really good details that aren't going to crack and.
So it's in there, it's clear, so I'm gonna sit here and just watch it turn white. As soon as it turns white, then I'm gonna pop it out.
Resin is what you use for the lamp, right? Where you can bend it and then it
Mhm.
dries that way.
Yeah. Stephanie, how you doing?
I think I'm good. I'm trying to find our paint bottles that have the thicker paint on the
paint?
top. I wanted a white color and I don't have one in front of me for this one.
You want me to
If
see
you
if
hold
we...
the stick on the side of the cup, pour is slower and it's easier to control, okay?
I don't see a white back.
It might be outside. I'll have to go out there.
Oh, that's scary. It's been raining.
I know, and I think that's why, like, some of these don't have the thick paint.
Yes. Yeah. If you go to our website, it will list all the classes. Let me give you the card. We have a new website.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah. So. That will list all the.
Hi there.
How are you today?
Thank
Here's
you.
some lights.
Perfect.
What are you girls making?
We are making ornaments live on YouTube right now. Don't know, it's okay. You can, everyone gets scared when they realize there's a camera on.
Oh,
But
okay.
we're showing people how to make ornaments from the dollar store.
Awesome.
Oh, look at their little cups. So cute.
Thank you, little hairy blue.
Oh. So, my mermaid is still not turning white. I think it's because it's so cold, maybe.
Oh, did you stir enough?
I did.
Okay,
I
good.
did. So I guess I'm gonna go back to painting some more base coat.
So
maybe,
I
or-
did my second layer there. Do you want to check it out? Because I feel like maybe some parts weren't dry enough and like it blended. I
Oh
guess
yeah.
that's okay though.
Yeah.
Gives a character.
What's that?
Yeah.
Gives a character.
Yeah.
Totally does. Okay, I am gonna add a third layer to my ornament. Oh, the mermaid's starting to turn white. Okay, that's good news. Ooh, this is our new
Water lily.
water lily, which I love.
Vicky says, "Oh my gosh, I caught a live."
Vicky, we're glad you're here. So see how I'm spreading it, but I'm not spreading it all the way? Because I want some
Yes.
of that blue to show underneath.
I love it. See, I was using this one. I don't actually like this one.
Yeah, I think the wide, fat ones are better. The chunkier, the wider, the fatter,
Yeah.
the more decrepit.
I think you're right. Do the little cups come with the resin? The little cups you have.
They do, but it's a good idea to get some backup plastic cups because they get pretty gunked out pretty fast. So if you're going to be making a lot of molds, get some plastic cups, not styrofoam cups.
So, could you use it in, like, let's say, dishware that you have at home that you're not eating out of, and then can?
You could totally use
Yeah.
old dishware, just don't eat out of it
Right.
after you use it. Definitely not. Because it's got quite the warning label.
So they can all see that it's turning white. You have to let the whole thing turn white, right?
Yeah. Can you see my mermaid turning white? Her belly is starting to turn a little white. It'll be white in about 5 minutes, and then I'll pop her out.
Cool cakes, thank you. She said she likes my skull sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah. So see, I've got this little kind of carousel look, I guess, going on here.
I love those colors together.
I do too. Oh, I just got. My store is in a house that was built in 1923, and I don't think they really even knew about insulation back then.
No,
It's cold.
freezing in
Sometimes
here
it's-
sometimes.
Sometimes it's colder in here than it is outside.
It's true. Like on Wednesday, it was raining here, and I could see my breath.
Oh, that's
But
no
we have
bueno.
little space heaters that we use, so
Yeah.
that's definitely helpful. And in the summertime, it gets pretty warm.
Yeah. It's like the most drastic temperature wise.
We've got a super chat! Yay,
Oh, my
Debbie
goodness.
Fleetwood, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
She said it's her first time catching you talented beauties live. Have a lovely lunch. Thank you so
Oh,
much. You're so
Thank
sweet.
you. What are we gonna have for lunch? I feel like I want like soup.
I know, right? It does feel like a soup day.
Yeah.
Sheila says, is that a Dollar Tree ornament? She's drooling over the color combination.
It's the 99-cent store. I haven't seen any at the Dollar Tree, but it doesn't mean that there isn't any. But these are from the 99-cent store, and then I've also seen some at Hobby Lobby. And I am loving the way this
Oh,
one is.
Debbie forgot. That's a good one. She says she loves the little plastic measure cups from laundry detergent to mix the resin in.
Oh, that is a good tip. Thank you, Debbie.
I bought some clear balls that you can add a picture in the middle. I want grandkids to put their picture in them and then use molds and paint to decorate.
I love
That's
that.
good.
Are you guys doing some handmade gifts this year? I love to make things when I have time. Usually it's like on Christmas Eve. So that is
Right.
how mine is turning out. I think I'm gonna add maybe a little mermaid tail.
Oh, here, I got some here for you.
Okay. And meanwhile, speaking of mermaids, my mermaid is still in the process of turning white. I think normally she would turn white a lot faster, but it's cold, so she's still hardening up. So this mermaid tail is nice and thick.
I know.
See how thick
it's
it
like
is?
the perfect, I think,
Yeah.
consistency right
Yeah,
now.
the thicker, the easier it is. You can just kind of spread it. It's almost like peanut butter the way you spread it on.
So I've got marquee and mermaid tail here. And that's what it's looking like.
Looking good, Stephanie.
I actually am really digging this color combo.
Oh,
here.
that color is gorgeous. I love red and like aquas together.
Me too.
So I don't know if you can see me spreading this on. That's why I like the edited videos, because you can really get in close and like you know that they're getting a good look at it. But with live, you can talk to people like right now. Like anyone could ask a question right now and we could answer it.
That's true. I love that.
That is-
Cobweb Afternoon, so she's loving how thick the ornaments are looking.
Yes.
How did we get it so thick, Donna Rice wants to know. So in this particular case, we're just taking it from the caps where the paint has kind of like stuck and kind of dried up a little bit. But you can speed up the process by either freezing or turning your heat gun or blow dryer on.
Yeah, so the thing about DIY paint is, and you know, some of you already know this, but most paints are either an acrylic-based paint or
Latex.
a latex-based paint or a mineral-based paint. And like when I use the word base, I mean like when you make a cake, it's based in flour. So that's the main bulk of the ingredients, right? DIY paint is clay-based, so it's mostly clay. And because of the clay, it acts differently than other paints. It doesn't require a lot of chemicals because you don't need all the self-levelers and the things that you need when you have a different type of base. But it literally turns into clay. So if you were to leave the lid off and just let it dry, it would turn into a big chunk of hard clay.
Right.
And because of that, you can let it thicken up. You can pour it out on a paper plate, or a lot of times the lids will naturally just kind of thicken up, and you can use it, and so it's like a runny type of clay consistency, and you can create this really cool chippy layered look. Plus there's all the highs and lows that you would have like in pottery.
I feel like
And,
with no other paint, and am I able to achieve as many different finishes than I am with
It's very versatile for sure. But you don't see a lot of clay paints because it's very expensive to make. Our paint probably costs more than any other paint, like paint that actually sells for more money. Like when you think of the most premium paint in the chalk paint world, our paint costs more to make.
And yet you're still at a very competing price point.
Because I want people to be able to afford it. So, but it costs more to make, not so much because of the clay, but the clay is so absorbent that it takes 5 times the pigment to color a clay-based paint, and it's very, very expensive to make. And so, but the good thing is that our paint covers so well. It's
It
so
does.
highly pigmented that you can water it down like Dion does and blend it, or you can build it up. But it's a very unique paint that a lot of people don't realize how unique it is.
Gotta try it. If you haven't tried it, definitely do.
So there's what I have right now. And my mermaid, everything but her arm and her face are looking pretty opaque. See her? She's almost ready to come out. But she needs a little more time. So I'm just gonna keep spreading.
Keep spreading. I'm loving your color combo there, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So
I
this
like
is
yours, too.
3 layers of, what do I have here? Water lily, old 57, wait, actually 4 layers, because I have my base coat of weathered wood. I have old 57, bohemian blue, and water lily. So there's, what is that, 4?
Yeah.
4 layers of paint on this.
That's good. You know what else you can do with this paint?
Tell me. Something that I don't know
So
yet.
there was a woman who had she had painted a big project. She had got like a quart of paint, and she was painting, I don't know what, I heard this story a while ago. She was doing like an armoire or something, and she just needed like, not even a whole sample jar worth. She just needed to finish a little area, and she had scraped the jar clean and scraped it.
Oh,
and
I've
she-
done this, I think.
She didn't want to go buy any more paint because she was almost done, but the edge of the paint can and the lid were all hard and chunky. So she chipped it off, and she put it in a coffee grinder or a blender.
I haven't done this, but I've heard this. Okay, tell
And
me.
she turned it back into powder, and then she added water to it
It's
and
amazing.
made the paint again. Isn't that cool? Have any of you ever tried that?
So cool.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Hi.
This one's looking a little now American flag because I added
I
the white.
like it though.
But I do love me some American flag.
Yes. You can be patriotic during the holidays. Okay.
Debbie Fleetwood says she'll do that now.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. I'm so thirsty. I don't know why.
The people that have used DIY paint are commenting saying how amazing it is.
Oh, thank you.
There's no other
Debbie,
paint
excuse
like
me.
it.
Are you selling the mattress spring outside in the garden?
I think that's Melissa's.
Melissa's.
Yeah,
Do you know
I think
how
she is
much?
selling it.
You'll have to
Okay.
text her, yeah.
Okay, I will text her.
We have a big old rusty mattress spring in the garden that somebody wants to purchase. Those are so much fun to work with. Have you ever used one for anything?
Personally, the only one is the thing out here for you. I mean, I didn't really do it, but my husband did, I guess. So no, I haven't in my own decor. But I
You
would.
do a
If
lot
I
of
had a
fun.
garden, I 100% would.
Yeah. I've seen people take old rusty mattress springs and frame them out and turn them into fences. And for my mom's memorial, planted a bunch of vines in an organic garden, and they had built these fences out of old mattress springs. So in honor of my mom, I had Stephanie's husband build this trellis for us out of a mattress spring, and we're growing a vine up it in memory of my mom, which I love.
I love that.
And I know she loves it. Somehow she loves it.
She does.
From heaven?
Of course she does.
Yeah.
You can make cute ornaments with the springs.
Oh yeah, you totally can.
Do you have a way to prevent the rust chips from happening on can that drop? I'm hoping I'm reading this right. On can that drops in paint sometimes. Do you have a way to prevent the rust chips from happening?
Rust chips.
On cans that drops in, I don't know.
You mean like the can getting rusty and then dropping into the paint?
Yeah. I don't
How
know.
much?
That would be 35.
Kimberly Stutler says, when I painted my coffee table, I used a spray bottle of water because I was trying to make the paint go farther and last longer. Is that okay to do? Yes, absolutely. I do that all the time.
Me too. Yeah, I like to use a spray bottle full of water to extend the paint because it goes on really thick. So if you're looking for a smooth surface, using the spray bottle in conjunction with your brush helps you kind of even out the brush strokes.
Julie wants to know if she can ask a question about painting fabric furniture. Sure.
Yeah.
Please.
People, that's like my most commonly asked question from that sofa video.
Yeah. I have a
Ask
chair
me
at
all
home
the
that I'm dying to get my hands. Although, okay, so it's gold. It's like a gold velvet, and I kind of want it to stay gold. I'm thinking of using like Queen Bee or something on it. It's just,
Ah.
it's a gold that's kind of like faded out and
So you
old.
want to like bring back the gold.
Exactly.
I would say Queen Bee would be a good choice, maybe mixed with some golden ticket or something.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try hitting the edges of the ornaments with rub and buff gold, silver, and brass. That sounds like a cool
Ooh.
idea.
I have some of that at home.
I'm sorry.
I love that rub and buff stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever use
I
that?
have. I love it too.
Yeah, that's good. Karen Kelly.
Are you buying the rusty bed spring thing?
She hasn't answered me yet, so she's
Oh.
gonna give me her number.
Oh,
Awesome.
Okay, what's your name?
Karen Kelly.
So Stephanie, how many of the bracelets did we sell?
We sold all but I think like 4 of them. So if you're interested,
I already ordered some more.
good. Yeah, somebody asked if we were gonna have them here in December. So if you ordered some more, it sounds like we will.
Depending on, they're handmade, so
Okay,
it's
I will text you. as soon as
it's hard
she
to say
texts me back. Okay.
how long because she has to get back to us. You know, she's got to go make some more, so that takes time. But we did get an email from someone in England who wants to order one, but we have to figure out how much the shipping would be to the UK
Right.
for that. So I guess we need to.
So the shipping,
Whoa!
I think I caught that. Woo.
Ooh, that was scary. I thought it was gonna spray all over me.
Sometimes when you get too much paint caked up in the lid and you're trying to squeeze it out, you get an explosion. So luckily it all exploded in the little dish we're using.
I'm sorry for interrupting again, but he's wanting to like fix it up and paint it. I'm thinking this is old school, right?
Yeah, it looks like old school to me.
Old school and white
Yeah.
wax.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Customers, shop it in the store while we're going live.
Cleared wax painted I have a question. I clear wax painted a desk this morning, but that's all it says. Okay.
She painted a desk with clear wax? Like just the wax?
What are our hours tomorrow, and do we have any small business Saturday sales in the store?
Our hours tomorrow are 11 to 5. I think the gift wrapping bar opens at noon. It goes from like noon to 3. And we have a hot cocoa bar, we have the free gift wrap ornament bar, and we may do some, Christmas ornament making for free.
Right.
Typically, here's my thought on sales. I'm
Real quick,
always-
let's answer this.
Okay.
She used, before I lose it, because it'll go by. She used wax, and she's changed her mind, and now she wants to use Big Top. I think that's how how do I remove the wax?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually have painted over wax before.
I have
know
too.
You're not supposed to. I think best thing to do would probably use like mineral spirits all over it.
But isn't that really toxic?
Just
Mineral
wear a mask.
Yeah.
And take it
I've painted
outside.
over wax too. You're not
supposed
supposed to. Yeah. The reason why is wax expands and contracts with the heat and the cold. So like right now, if you have a wax piece, it's going to be
Contracted, right?
contracted.
Right.
Yeah. And then it will kind of expand as it gets hotter. And so then if you paint over that wax, with the temperature, it's going to be moving and you're going to risk the paint chipping up or peeling up. For me, chippy paint is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go ahead, if I've waxed something and I want to paint over it, I don't really care if it gets chippy, but if if you absolutely don't want any chipping going on, then you're taking
mineral
a chance.
spirit, yeah.
Yeah. I've never used mineral spirits. I don't
It's not
think I've ever
terrible.
even tried to remove wax.
It's not terrible. I mean, I assume it has chemical in it, but it's not terrible. I would mineral spirits it with maybe being outdoors or in a ventilated area, and maybe spot test it and then go from there.
So Stephanie, what is mineral spirits? Because I don't even know what it looks like. I've never even, people have told me use mineral spirits. Is that liquid?
It is
that
a liquid.
spray?
No, it's a liquid, and you'll just kind of rub it on your piece. I've done it not to remove wax, but just to completely try to strip it of all the oils or debris or whatever might be on it. I've used it like that, but yeah, it's a liquid. I don't recall it being super fumey, but I do believe it has chemicals. So yes, I would just make sure you're.
So it leaves the paint on, but it takes the wax off.
Yeah, it does. Well, I've never used it to remove wax from a piece that I've already painted, but I've used it before I've painted a piece to just really get a deep clean.
Okay.
But Julie has done it over wax, and she says that it just kind of leaves it the paint goes back to its chalky finish.
Oh.
So the paint stayed on, and it just took the wax off.
Okay. Good to know.
Do you need wax for not for the chalkboard?
So my mermaid is still taking her sweet time. It would have totally been dry 5 minutes ago, but I do believe because it's so chilly that it is, she's almost done. Here, let me hold her up. See, I just want to give her a few more minutes, and then we'll try and slap her on the ornament. But the ornament needs to dry too. Stephanie, I'm painting some of your ornaments.
Yeah, please do. I'm trying to also get questions. Do we have? Oh, I'm sorry. You never answered the sales. Do we? So someone wants to know if we have Black Friday deals. Hey there.
So,
But you could Google.
I try and give the best price possible all year long.
Okay.
And I know for me,
You guys are all done? Ready to?
if I know a store is gonna have a sale on something, then I just don't even shop there at all. I'm waiting for their sale to happen. And really, what they've done is they've raised the price, knowing that they're gonna mark it down later. So we just try and keep things simple here. The only time that we offer sales are maybe after Christmas if we have any leftover Christmas merchandise and we don't want to store it
Yeah.
to next year. But if it's something that's a handmade Christmas item that we're just gonna have to make again, then we don't mark that down. We just mark down
Yes.
the stuff that we have maybe one or two left of.
You have the keys, don't you? You have the key?
But have fun with the frame. That looks like a fun project.
Yeah. And
So-
Donahue wants to know where we got the ornaments from.
The ornaments are from the 99-cent store. I think we painted them all, but they were clear plastic when we started. So yeah, typically we just try and give you the best price. Like with DIY paint, it never goes on sale. Like the retailers are not allowed to mark it down unless it's actually in their store. But there's never an online sale for DIY paint. Like Jamie Ray is having a Black Friday sale on her website today, but that doesn't include DIY paint because it goes back to what I was saying about how it's one of the most expensive paints to make, but yet we sell it for less than other brands that are higher priced than ours. So we just try and give you the best deal all year long. So we don't really have any wiggle room to mark it down.
Julie says she's trying to paint her green crushed velvet with floral cushion. She said her last message was too long and they deleted it. I guess YouTube deletes long messages. I don't know. Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, so look at that. That's turning out super chipped up and jacked up looking. Just love it.
Any suggestions she wants to know?
So Julie is painting a floral sofa.
I guess.
And
Yeah.
is she having a problem? Tell us again, Julie.
Yeah. Did you ever find the secret spaces in Bobby's secretary desk?
No.
They are in the columns on each side of the center little door. We found one, and I think we're gonna have Bobby make another one.
Like beads, like their own beads?
That secretary turned out so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're almost there with that mermaid, right?
Yeah.
Looks like it's
I
almost
think-
there.
Yeah, she's pretty much ready to roll.
I love that, Debbie. That's so good.
Yeah, if you want to hit this one with the dryer, then we can
Perfect.
put some decrepit dust on it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to pull my mermaid out. I did not mix up enough resin so you can see by her head she's running a little thin. But I'm going to just, because she's going to be glued to this ornament, I think it's going to be all right. I'm going to just go with it and see what happens. But you just basically, once it's all opaque white and you touch it and it's not sticky, then you can just pop it out of the mold. And if you want to see, this up close and personal, the video that I posted on Wednesday of my lamp will show you some really good, juicy close-up shots.
Robin Joe wants to know if we have IOD items in our shop. We
Oh,
certainly
do we?
do, and we also sell and ship them from our online,
Yeah, which is, we've only been
website.
doing that for a week.
and that is DIYpaint.co.
And he has the frame.
And Stephanie, we have been selling that IOD like crazy.
I know, isn't that so exciting?
It is. I don't think she's not quite ready to come out of here. She's still kind of, like, it should just pop out. So I'm thinking she still needs a little time.
We are at 11:40, so hopefully she doesn't disappoint.
Yeah.
Victoria Montes wants to know if we thickened the paint before applying. It looks kind of pasty. Yeah, so the whole idea with these ornaments is to use the chunky, thickened paint. So we just used what was kind of caked it up in the tops of our paint bottles here.
Okay, here she is. She's ready to roll out. I'm gonna pull her out of the mold. I poured her in really thin, so she's super bendy, which I wanted because I wanted her to go around the Christmas ornament. This is gonna be a little tricky right here because I probably didn't get enough resin on her head. So we'll see how she comes out.
It's so difficult to sand between coats. This is the sofa or the chair one. She tried an electric sander, but not good in the house. Any suggestions?
She's sanding. She's painting fabric?
Sounds like it.
Why are you sanding? You shouldn't. I never sanded.
Maybe when you were applying it, you used the sanding block. Maybe that's what she's talking about. Or maybe, yeah, she's misunderstanding what the step is.
Okay, so were you following my video where I painted the velvet sofa? because I didn't really sand in between coats. I have, it's called a sanding sponge. So it's a sponge, but it's wrapped in sandpaper, and I use that to work in the paint so that it wasn't kind of tie-dye look, to make it all even. And then I would wait for that layer to dry, and I would work that in. Here's the key. If you're painting fabric, if you're painting a couch or a chair or a velvet sofa or whatever fabric that you're painting, if the paint sits on top of the fabric, it's gonna get crunchy. You have to get all the paint worked into the fibers of the fabric like you're dyeing it. Don't think of the fact that you're painting it, you're dyeing the fabric. So if any of it sits on the top and doesn't sink in, it's gonna crunch, it's gonna crack, and no amount of sanding is gonna fix that puppy.
Right.
That's why, like, in the video, I'm like, you have to do this. Like, with most things, you can wing it. With this, if it goes crunchy, you're done.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So what if you have a darker fabric and you want a
Okay.
lighter finish, like you want to dye it in a lighter color?
That's next to impossible.
Right.
It really is. Like, you have to go with a color that's darker than the original fabric. I started with that 70s gold, and I put bohemian blue on it, and it ended up kind of an emerald green because the gold was still, you're dyeing it so it becomes part of the color.
Right.
But if you want to take a black sofa and make it white, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd be probably, like
Yeah.
you said, next to impossible.
Yeah, I mean, our paint, like, that's another thing, that the reason why it works is our paint is so highly pigmented. But when I painted that sofa, which I've had for 4 years and I love it, and people sit on it, I've sat on it with white pants, I've slept on it, the paint doesn't come off. But it took me 2 weeks to paint that couch. It's like layer by layer by layer. You put on a light layer and then you let it dry, and you put on another light layer and you let it dry. And every time you make sure it's soft, because if it stays on top, it's going to be crunchy. And you just keep adding layers and layers and layers. I think like 7 or 8 light layers, and the first layer doesn't even look like anything because it's so watered down.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you go to my video, How to Paint a Velvet Sofa, it's the video with the most views. It's got 1.2 million views. You click the link, it will take you to my blog post. And on my blog, I have taken every question that anyone has ever asked me about painting a couch, and I answer all of them one by one by one. But I get questions every single day, questions that people, questions are asked over and over again. But you can do it. I mean, it's totally, like, for me, I bought that couch for $20, and it looks like a $3,000 sofa from Anthropology. So for me, the time and the effort was worth it. But you have to weigh it out because it is a long process. It takes a lot of patience. It doesn't take that much paint. I used just over a quart of paint for an 8-foot sofa. So if you're using 2 quarts of paint for a 6-foot sofa, chances are you're using too much paint and it's going to go crunchy. And it's really just a matter of very slowly adding the layers, working it in with that sponge. But you shouldn't have to sand in between coats.
She says, so it doesn't work to rub in with the brush. Question, that was her question. When I sand, it does it soft, so rub it when wet with a sponge sander. Yes.
Yes, you want it to dye your fabric. And at first, it's not going to look like the fabric is being dyed. It's going to be a very subtle, like the first layer is going to look barely even like anything. Then you come back and you do the second layer, and then you do the third, and then by the time you get to the 8th or 9th layer, it's something.
Yeah. Danielle, your sister, wants to know if we're doing a 2-hour live today.
Oh, God, are we overtime?
Yes, we are at 11:46.
Well, I want to show people this mermaid. Got to get it out, and then we got to put some decrepit dust
Yes,
on
which
it.
I'm going to right now. So with Debbie, with the decrepit dust, am I waxing it over? I'm
Yes,
sure I am,
you're
right?
applying the clear wax and then the dust.
So I have clear wax, and I'm gonna apply it over this chippy. Let me get it closer. Beautiful chippy ornament.
My sister
Julie
always-
says she has 7 coats on so far.
And how's it looking, Julie? Like, is
It's
it
getting
is
lighter.
it crunchy?
$17.
With every layer, I guess.
It's getting lighter.
I'm
What
not
color?
Sure what color she's going.
What
for.
color are you trying to paint over what color? Okay, here's my mermaid. She's out. She's out. It's hard to see her because of the light. But I'm gonna need to hit this. I'm gonna try and wrap her around here and glue her down. I'm excited. This is the part that's fun. But I gotta dry it. The paint is still wet on this puppy. So I'm gonna hit it really quick.
The people are voting and they want a 3-hour one.
So I'm just drying this ball. You can see it drying as I hit it. So the paint gets a lot lighter as it dries. Who said watching paint dry isn't super exciting?
Julie's painting her couch or sofa or chair over a medium green and a floral mixed colors, and it's not crunchy.
Okay, well good, Julie. Well, I think it's just gonna keep pressing on then.
So I've got my wax on. Now I'm just sprinkling a little dust, and I'm gonna work it into all the little crevices.
So this is my ornament. I did a very sloppy coat because I'm gonna paint over it again. So it's a super, pardon the expression, half-assed job. And I am gonna glue the mermaid down because she's super bendy. So I'm gonna glue her down onto the ornament, and then I'm gonna paint her again. I don't know if there'll be time in this live, but maybe in Facebook Live or next week we will. So see how bendy she is. I poured her really thin because I wanted her to be really, really bendy. So I need to get some glue and get her on here.
Would paper clay work as well?
It would. I wanted it to be really strong for the ornament, and because I just used resin last week, I thought I would just go ahead and use more resin.
Good morning.
Just for the heck of
So now I got all my decrepit dust worked in here, and I'm gonna just kind of wipe it back a little bit with a rag, so that way it comes off of the high parts and just stays down in the.
How's
the
it
low
looking,
sides.
Stephanie?
I think it's looking good.
Oh, it's looking so good. Okay, I'm using just white school glue. Elmer's glue, school glue is, or the Aleene's tacky glue. It's a pretty strong glue. It takes a while to set up. So I'm just gonna brush the back of my mermaid with the white school glue. I like it because it dries clear, and unlike every other kind of resin or epoxy, it's non-toxic. So I'm just gonna cover the whole back of the mermaid with this white glue. Man, time went by fast this morning.
It sure did.
And now, Little Miss Mermaid is gonna go on to the ornament. And I'm probably gonna need some painter's tape to get her to lie flat because I want her to have a nice flush. There she is. So I'm holding her down with my fingers. And then I'm gonna paint over the whole. We put the dust on it, but I am thinking she looks good.
Can you microwave the paint to? Somebody asked to thicken it up.
I don't know. I've never tried that.
So
It would be a good test.
You got the decrepit dust, and it's kind of just in the lower spots, in the cracks and all that of the chippiness. And I think this one's good to go.
Awesome, Stephanie.
Hi there.
Hi there.
So it looks like they have a lot of stuff that you
Do you know where the painter's tape would be?
It is probably. I wish I could hang this. No, it's probably up here. Let me grab.
Okay. So So the other reason why I like the white glue is because it is like water based. So if I decide I want to move the mermaid higher or lower, I want to make her arm go up a little more, I can really manipulate it. And like I said, I didn't pour the mold very thick because I wanted her to go around the ornament. There she is. And then once I paint her, I think she's going to be amazing. But yeah, do we have questions?
Steph,
Oh, thank you.
Here you. Oh,
Okay,
yeah, you
so
want me to put it back?
where
I'm-
was that one? Oh, it's probably
I'm
wet.
seeing the question. So the question is that she's asking, will painting floral fabric work?
Go ahead.
So here's my answer to questions like that. So I painted a velvet sofa in my video. That's the only sofa. I think I've painted another velvet chair, but that's it. Like I have never painted, the questions I get all the time are, can you paint leather? Can you paint microfiber? Can you paint corduroy? Can you paint polyester? Can you paint a printed fabric? I don't know because I've never done it.
You should
So,
try though.
Yeah, so like when I painted my velvet sofa, I didn't know if that would work. And that's how I figured out how to do it. So with anything that you're trying to paint, go get a remnant of that fabric if you can find something similar, or if there's a back of a cushion, or if there's, like in my case, I didn't want the skirt on the sofa, and use it as a test before you go to town on the whole thing. Because every fabric is made differently. Some of it, like polyester fabric, isn't going to absorb the paint as much as a natural fabric would. So I've never painted floral fabric. I don't know. The only way to know is to test it.
You don't have all the answers? Imagine that, Sandra says. Victoria says she's in our parking lot waiting for the live to end. Come in,
Oh,
Victoria.
we're open, Victoria. Come on in, and we'll introduce you to everybody right now. Come on down.
What's her name, Victoria?
Yes.
Go get her, Julie. No, she's gonna run away. All right, so I'm using the painter's tape to flatten my mermaid down.
To adhere your
I'm gonna let her dry, and then
She might be in the wrong spot because there's nobody out there.
oh, Victoria, are you at the right place? Or maybe she literally
Oh, she's in the parking lot somewhere,
Okay.
probably waiting for our live to end.
Yeah.
I thought she was here.
Someone just bought, this is
That's
interesting.
funny.
Let's see if anybody out there has tried this. Somebody just bought a stencil because they wanted to do a design on their coffee, like put the stencil over the coffee and then sprinkle it.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
that's cool.
I can't
yeah.
see that working.
Why would that
though,
not
because-
work? Because you're like covering the rest of, yeah.
But would it really fall down into the coffee?
We're
in that
gonna try
pattern?
this.
if you have like
Okay.
the foamy top.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so now as soon as this is over, I'm gonna go get a couple.
Yeah,
I'm
we have
so
to try
cold.
this.
Yeah.
She specifically wanted a violet, and there was a design in there that had little violets in it. She said, "This is perfect, exactly what I'm looking for."
That's
You know, I
cool.
wouldn't be surprised. There's all kinds of coffee art. If you go to Pinterest and
Yeah.
put in coffee art, I bet you'll find.
Yeah,
Like,
I
all kinds of-
couldn't imagine it, but you're right. It probably
Yeah.
kind of cool.
My mom wants to know what color you're gonna paint the mermaid.
I don't know. What do you think? I definitely am gonna. I'm gonna paint the whole thing a color. Maybe skeleton key. And then I'm gonna put the dust on.
Mm-hmm.
I might do, because the mold isn't painted yet, so when this dries, I might go over it again, the whole thing with another layer of the old weathered wood, because I want there to be an undercolor for the mermaid when I distress
Somebody said
it.
salty kiss. That would be kind of
Oh
cool.
yes,
And
salty
makes so
kiss.
much sense.
Yes, okay, that's the color. Whoever
Salty
decided that,
kiss.
genius.
Mary
So-
Catherine.
So, yeah, so we don't have time to finish this today, but I am going to put another, after she's totally dried on here, and I'm wrapping her with tape because I want her to really, really suck to the side of this thing like an octopus. And then I'm gonna paint it all again with another coat of weathered wood because I did a sloppy coat, and I want the mermaid to have an underlayer of weathered wood. Then I'm gonna put salty kiss. Then I'm gonna put the clear wax. Then I'm gonna put the decrepit dust. And yeah, maybe I'll make this like an edited video if I
Yeah.
have time. That's what I did with the lamp. It started off as the live, and then it turned into the
The edited version.
edited version. Yeah. Okay, so if there's any last questions,
Where do you get the bottles that we put the paint in? We get them on Amazon. They're called FIFO or FIFO. It's FIFO. Yep, Amazon.
I'll try and add a link for that because people do ask
People
that.
ask that a lot.
And we have a link for the resin in the description box. We have a link to our website if you would like to buy these awesome IOD molds.
You can buy paint on
Or
the
paint.
website. You can buy IOD products, so the molds,
Yeah.
the stamps, the
We sell all the
Transfers.
IOD, but we would love it if you would support your local retailer because that's what we're all about. So if you want to go to the website, there's a button that says find a retailer near you. Many of them are doing the free gift wrap bar.
yeah, and I
And
would
the-
say that's a good way to get your hands on them and see them up close and personal.
Yeah,
If
they
you don't have a retailer near you, they might have, well, we have them on the website, and then retailers, not all of them, I guess, but
our retailers are so good.
do they have them online, all of them, or?
So, many of them sell online.
Okay.
Jamie Ray, Debbie Fimmer, Melanie Whitaker in Albuquerque, New Mexico. A lot of them are online sellers, and we would much prefer that you support them first because that's what we're all about is supporting our retailers.
Which mermaid mold did you use? It's called Sea Sisters.
And it looks
I
like
believe
this.
that's the only mermaid mold they have
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I think
That
that's
is
it.
Yeah. All right.
So, thumbs up, subscribe, maybe?
Thumbs up and subscribe. We go live every Friday and we have an edited video every Wednesday. And I hope you guys are going to have a wonderful Black Friday
Yeah.
and support your small businesses out there. Make some handmade gifts and
Go make some
Yeah.
ornaments.
make some ornaments. Get yourself to the dollar store. We will see you on Wednesday for the
What is
video.
today?
Stephanie
Yes,
is helping
Wednesday.
me edit that, so we have a wonderful video coming out on Wednesday.
We'll see you if you're
Yeah.
local tomorrow. Come hang out at our open house, our holiday open house.
Yes, and I'm gonna get a cup of coffee.
Yes.
What about you?
And I'm gonna put my jacket on because I'm freezing.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye.
And